Let's go to Chip Roy. Hello, Chip. How are you?
I'm doing great, Glenn. How are you, my friend?
I'm good. So now this has to pass by Friday, but you got the spending bill last night, or this morning, 2 a.m.?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just so your listeners understand what's going on, right? You'll remember that there was a continuing resolution that was passed in September to December, then December to February 18th, then February 18th to March 11th, which, of course, is Friday. At every point along that line, we conservatives have been saying we should be doing something to fight for the American people, like end vaccine mandates, like stand up for border security. We've gotten nothing at all, obviously, from Democrats, but worse, nothing from Republicans. Well, now here we sit, and now Ukraine is going on, and now the entire establishment in D.C. is all at Twitter that we've got to pass this funding bill so that, one, we can pass a supplemental, basically, war funding bill, even though we're not, quote, at war, to go send stuff to Ukraine, and with no debate, by the way, and then pass a funding bill for the overall government. Now, we're not just passing a CR. We're passing an omnibus appropriations bill, okay, that packages everything together and spends a crap ton of your money or borrowed money. Yes, we got the bill last night at 1:30 in the morning. It was emailed to us at 2:30, to be clear. So we woke up early. Some of my staff was getting in the middle of the night. We're looking through it. It's 2,700 pages long. It's a $1.512 trillion annual spending level bill. That is, the best I can tell, about an $88 billion minimum plus up from last year's spending level, not counting Ukraine, Glenn. That's just $88 billion of overall spending increases, both defense and non-defense. I think it's more than that, but that's the bare minimum increase. We're trying to figure it out. That's at least a 6% increase, but I think the increase is closer to 8 to 10. And we're trying to figure that out.
And we don't know on what.
Well, right. We're going through to figure out all the levels.
When do you have to vote on this?
We're going to vote on the rule. We just made a motion to adjourn to shut the place down, which we will lose, but we're just trying to buy time. And then we will vote on the rule sometime this morning and then vote on the bill in a few hours.
Nobody's even read it.
No, it's 2,700 pages. All the appropriators will tell you that all the appropriation staff and all of the appropriator cardinals, they've all looked at it, Glenn.
Yeah.
So those handful of people will tell you how our country should be moving forward, not your elected representatives.
Okay, tell me what's in this. Anything on oil and gas?
So there is not one thing, to the best of our knowledge, we're searching through it, that will help American oil and gas improve.
All
not
right.
One thing.
COVID vax mandates.
Nothing in there to end the COVID vaccine mandates. Now, pause. We're hoping that Mike Lee will force a vote on an amendment in the Senate, but remember last time he did that, Mitt Romney and company walked out. But right now, there's nothing in the bill in the House that we're voting on today, to the best of my knowledge, that does anything for American oil and gas, that does anything at all to end the vaccine mandates, and then nothing to truly secure the border of the United States. Now, what my Republican establishment colleagues will say is, oh, don't worry, Chip, we're going to give more money to ICE and Border Patrol. Well, Glenn, you know the truth. You're a Texan. You know what's going on at the border. If we give more money to ICE and Border Patrol,
process more people.
They're going to process more people. They're going to not prosecute bad actors. They're not going to stop fentanyl. They're not going to stop the cartels. They're literally going to process more illegal aliens coming to the United States in the false name of asylum.
There is $15.6 billion in supplemental for COVID. What the hell does that mean?
We don't know. My staff's trying to figure out exactly what that means. There's slight good news is apparently that's offset out of previous COVID money, but whoop-de-doo, it's still another $15.6 billion that's being refocused and targeted towards we don't know what. But I can promise you the continuation of BS COVID forced policies like the masks that are still interfering with our kids, the vaccine mandates that are harming our folks, they'll say it's for research and stuff, but Lord only knows. But it's going to be $13.6 billion of Ukraine supplemental funding plus the $15.6 billion of COVID supplemental funding on top of the 12 trillion I'm sorry, $1.512 trillion total package.
All right, so let me ask you, when it comes to the Ukraine spending, what are we spending it on?
Well, again, peeling that back, there's, I believe, it is roughly two-thirds lethal aid. I don't know for sure, where we're going to be funding additional, stingers and lethal aid to the Ukrainians. And then there's X amount of it. I think the other third or so is for humanitarian aid. We'll know those numbers for sure here soon. We're pouring over it. But
what stops us from passing just that separately?
Well, the politics of this town, right? I mean, now I haven't seen or the actual votes called or whether we'll get a clean, straight-up vote on it. I don't believe we will. I think it's going to be packaged with, I think we're going to have two votes, one on the security portion, which includes defense appropriations, homeland security, and I think this supplemental. I'm not positive about that. I'll find out for sure, and I'll tell you, I'll send it to your team. And then a separate vote on the non-defense discretionary bill, I think. But the bottom line is they're doing this all today to jam it all through, I suspect all together, because they want that to be the case, right? They don't want to be able to have a separate debate. We should be debating our Ukraine funding, right? You and I are both horrified. I don't want to speak for you, but horrified by what Putin is doing. I gave a speech last night on the floor of the House about what he's doing to orphans and children and families and separating families and blowing up bridges and blowing up schools and apartments and harming people. He's a thug, a KGB dictator who's killed people. But I want to know what we're spending this money on, and are we at war or not? I want to know what we're going to get out of this. I want to know when we're spending this money, where's it coming from? This is an offset. This is another $13.6 billion. What are we going to, we didn't debate it, Glenn. Not one debate on the floor of the House. Not one. A handful of speeches in a quiet chamber. Meanwhile, a handful of people in smoke-filled rooms upstairs, well, not, smoke-filled anymore because that's not politically correct, but upstairs in a dark room making decisions for all of America.
So, Chip, how many Republicans are willing to stand? I mean, now is the time to take a stand and to show America who you really are. And I'll bet you the vast majority are like, we got to do it for the Ukrainian people.
So I'm not sure yet. I'm going to be blasting the hell out of it all day. I know that my Freedom Caucus colleagues largely oppose it. I don't know what the numbers are ultimately going to be. Right now, I'm going to just give you a target line of 50-50 in the House Republican Conference. But I'm not sure. I think people are kind of watching this unfold. They're peeling the bill back. Not one Republican should vote for this bill. Unfortunately, a large number will. And they will do so falsely in the name of going out and helping the Ukrainians, when in fact they're using that as a beard to continue to grow and develop government. Mm-hmm. And they always have excuses as to why that's okay. We have to do that, Glenn. You don't understand. We have to do that, Chip. We know what's important here. Look, we don't have the majority. When you give us power, then we'll have puppy dogs and rainbows, and we'll be the fiscal conservatives that you guys have been asking for.
No, you won't. Show me right now that you are. I would recommend that everyone calls their congressmen and their senators today, right now, and say, I have a very long memory. This omnibus spending bill that you have to pass, I would rather have the government shut down than pass something that none of you have even read. You haven't even read it. No more crazy spending like this in the middle of the night. And tell them you can debate the Ukrainian money. Go ahead. Everything that's going, you have a debate on it, and you could pass that today. You could pass that tomorrow. But that does not, I'm not that stupid. I'm not this stupid. I know what's happening, and I will remember you. I'm voting. I vote for people like you, and I'm going to campaign for people like you. But if you don't stand right now, when it's pretty easy because your vote won't matter. If you won't do it now, you certainly won't do it when you have power. And if you won't do it now, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that I work for your competition. I work for the candidate running against you. And if nobody's running against you, I might run against you because we need some courage right now. You call your senator and your House member and you tell them that right now. It's the omnibus bill. They're going to pass it in the House today. So you've got to call them right now, and then it'll head over to the Senate. And by the way, make sure you call the weasels, the Romneys in the Senate, who will not stand up against this, won't stand up by any stretch of the imagination, and won't support Mike Lee. Good God, the guy won't even support Mike Lee in an endorsement because his good friend is Egg McMuffin, or whatever his name is. The guy is weak and pathetic. Make sure you call those senators and your congressmen now. Chip, do I have it covered? Is there anything else that people can do?
Hey, man, you got it. You got it covered. This is exactly right. Everybody out there listening, Glenn is exactly right. You need to light everybody up. Do not let your Republican leadership, your Republican representatives who claim fiscal conservative, who claim to fight for you, get away with this crap. This is crap. You need to call them out on it, light the phones up, and let them know this is unacceptable.
Yeah, and do the phone. Please don't email them. They can dismiss emails, but the phones make a difference. Thank you so much, Chip. I appreciate it.
God bless. Take care, Glenn.